is here.
We will definitely not shut up and dribble.
The champ is here. I must be the greatest. The champ is here.
I'm going to continue to stand with the people.
The champ is here.
I will not lose.
I'm a bad man. I shook up the world.
Yes, welcome. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with me. My name is EJ, and I got my man.
Your mate.
Yes, he is the DB of the show, and we are Black in Sports, giving a voice to the culture that won't shut up and dribble. Here interviewing the best professionals in the game and in the boardroom, covering it all, laughing it all, providing a platform to be heard. So you know what we do, man. We got to bring our guest in. So she personifies women in sports. You know, she's known as the Sporty Spice, self-proclaimed tomboy, the Southern Belle with pageant royalty in her blood. All right, so she's a sports reporter, digital creator. She has her blue check, but she also has her wings. So we'll talk about that a little bit, man. So we're going to talk about her many roles in media, so you can see her anywhere, and that's how we kind of got to know Twillie Cottingham. Please clap it up for Twillie. How are you doing today?
I'm well. Thank y'all so much for having me.
Absolutely. So how we start our show is we always start our show with a shoot your shot moment, okay? So this is a time when you bet on yourself, win or lose, winner lesson, right? But it's a time that you just did something that was kind of like, okay, I'm betting on myself. Give us that shoot your shot moment.
Ooh, my shoot my shot moment. Just producing great content for my current role with hbcugo TV. I posted a clip of Texas Southern Band playing Sexy Red, ooh, baby, and the school collab with it, and it's just performing so well on our social platforms. So I always tell people I'm the Muhammad Ali of content creating, and so that's definitely my, like, I'm the best. I know what I'm doing, so that's my shoot my shot moment.
That's definitely that Muhammad Ali. That's the one. That's the GOAT.
That's it right there.
Of course. Yeah, my dad and my grandfather were huge fans of Muhammad Ali, and just like what he instilled and what he stood on, and just me researching myself. Like, I like his quote. He was like, "I'm the greatest. None of y'all can beat me." And one of my mentors, she just told me to, like, stop doubting yourself. Like, you know you're the best, so start saying it. And ever since then, you know, things just move swiftly. So I'm taking the Muhammad Ali approach now. Like, I'm the best.
No, I love it. Claim that. So where'd your love with sports start?
So I've been very blessed. My parents played sports. So my mom played basketball. My dad played football. He played professionally. He coached. He's a Tuskegee University grad. He's a Tuskegee University Sports Hall of Fame inductee. And so it just kind of came about. I played softball. I was a cheerleader. And I heard you in the introduction of me. I call myself a Tom girl. So I love sports, but I'm also very girly. Like you said, I do pageants as well. And it just kind of grew over time. And then honestly, like in 10th grade, I saw Shaquille O'Neal do an interview with Lisa Salter. And the interview was terrible because Lisa Salter is like 5'1" and Shaq is 7 foot. And I was like, well, I'm 5'10". If I wear heels, I'm about like 6'3". You know, I can help out the tall guys to do better interviews. And after that, I was just like, all right, this is where I'm gonna go. I like it. It's consistent because I've always studied television and news. And I was like, I don't like news. It's too depressing. I don't like celebrity gossip. I don't care who's dating who. I was like, sports. You have a beginning, you have an end, a couple of stories here and there. It's always consistent. And yeah, that's where I stuck. And I've been here now for 14 seasons, and I wouldn't be anywhere else in the world.
I love it. So the athletic part was always there because I got a 5-year-old daughter, or she's 4. She's gonna be 5 soon, and I know there's some athletic something in there, but it hadn't revealed itself yet. So when did that part of the Tom girl, did the Tom part come in that? I just kind of
Well, I'm from a small town, Alabama, so you either playing sports, you're going to church, or you're like doing something else. And luckily, my neighbor, he played baseball. So actually, baseball was my first sport. Like, I was like, okay, if he's playing, I'm going to play. So we didn't have softball either at that time in my hometown. So I was just like, all right, I like it. And then my mom said I would always ask about when's the next season, when are we playing, you know? But she also wanted to make sure that, like, sports wasn't my only niche. So, like, I played 4 instruments. I'm a classically trained, dancer. I cheered. And it just kind of happened over time, and I just loved it. And then once we got softball, like that became like my love, my passion. But like I said, the girl part came by being a cheerleader. And I know a lot of people don't like to recognize cheerleading as a sport, but it really does take a lot to be a cheerleader. And like I said, my dad played, my mom played sports, my aunts, my uncles. So it just kind of happened. And for your daughter, let her try out everything. My cousin, she started with soccer because she couldn't do gymnastics and she played in college. And me personally, I wanted to do gymnastics, but my dad is 6'4", my mom is 5'11". So it was, I was kind of cursed on the gymnastics gene. But yeah, it just kind of happened. But my cousin did gymnastics, so I got to experience that with her. And it was that's just what we did. I mean, who doesn't love sports and who doesn't love playing sports? And I was just very blessed to do it for a long time.
Yeah, we asked that same question. Everybody should love sports in one way or another, right? Like there's just so much, that comes in, and then us that have been around it, definitely understand why we have that and what it's kind of created and the lane is made for us, right? Especially those that have the opportunity to work in sports. So growing up in Alabama, were you an Auburn Tiger all the way, or when did that love come?
Oh, I'm an Auburn Tiger through and through. Oh, no. There was no other way. Auburn was my first school choice. Like, that's where I was going. But my grandmother, who I'm named after, graduated from Alabama A&M. And so I want to continue on with that legacy. In my hometown, like I said, it's not really that diverse. So going to Auburn would have been the same thing. So going to A&M, it really helped me just embrace my Black culture and just Black life, and gave me the opportunity to experience a place where not just one building, one teacher is going to look out for you. The entire campus looks out for me. The entire world looks out for me. And just because you go to one HBCU, the other 106 are going to look out for you as well. So I'm very blessed to come from that. But I'm still an Auburn girl through and through. You will never change me. I dated a guy that played at Alabama. He can change me. So, I supported him through and through. But IMO, he knew. He knew where the line was drawn. But yeah, I'm just an Auburn girl. It just fits. And actually, Alabama A&M and Auburn are sister schools. So Auburn was founded in the South for the whites, and A&M was founded in the North for the Blacks. And they work in a program together. So it just all works together. But
okay, drop that history knowledge. Okay, that's good. Okay. So I'm gonna toggle back and forth, and of course I may jump in. So favorite all-time Auburn. And can you do, because I know there's two big public figures that kind of represent that. So, but favorite all-time Auburn sports figure.
Ooh, there's so many, because I am a true Auburn fan. So of course you have Bo, you have Charles Barkley, you have Cam, of course, but you also have Jason Campbell, you have Cadillac Williams, Carlos Lewis, Nick Fairley. Oh my gosh, it's just so many. That's hard. I guess I would say Jason Campbell. And the only reason why I say Jason Campbell, because a lot of people don't give him his credit. And this is the year they're celebrating the 20th year of the perfect season. And they got, dubbed that year because of the whole BCS and computer things like that. But he really turned that Auburn program around his senior season. So I'm going to say the best one is Jason Campbell.
Let's go. Shout out to J. Cam. Okay.
Yeah.
So with Pops being in the Hall of Fame, how many Tuskegee homecomings did you attend?
Oh my gosh, I can't even keep count. Can't even keep count. And I just did a video today, and someone asked me my favorite college stadium, and I always say Tuskegee. And I wish Tuskegee had the money that a PWI Power 5 had, because singing Ball and Parlay, Under the Shed, the food, the energy, and they don't have lights, so all their games are during the daytime. But it's something about going to those games and just that energy and experience. I'm so blessed I've gotten to experience it. And that's just too many to count. And I hate that my job now conflicts and I can't go to homecoming this year, but I'll still make my way down there somehow.
Yeah, I mean, I've had the experience. I lived in Montgomery for a brief time after I graduated from college, and I had the opportunity to see a couple of homecomings. So definitely an experience there for sure.
Oh yeah, it's a vibe. It's so much fun. I even blogged on my YouTube channel. So shameless plug, go to my YouTube. You type in Tuskegee Homecoming. I think it was 2019. Yeah, good times.
So the softball and cheerleading,
Mhm.
one could argue two different sides of the spectrum. How did you use really both sides of your brain to be successful in both?
I think it was just balance of where the seasons fell. So like cheerleading was football and basketball season. So in the spring we were kind of free. So the only thing you could do was either softball or track. And I loved track. I actually was the fastest runner on our cheer team, on our softball team. Like that was my thing. But their season was so short. And like with softball, it would go longer. So I was like, well, I'm gonna do softball. And like I said, my first love was baseball. So once I got the girl version of baseball, I was like, oh, this is it. Like I wanted to be on the Olympic team. I wanted to go medal. But like I said, I got to be a girl and, you know, cheer for football and basketball season. So it just all kind of balanced out both. But I love that the kids now in my old high school get to do volleyball, get to do cheer, get to do basketball. They get to really get to experience all sports at the same time, where when I grew up, you had to pick one or the other. Because if it conflicted, the coaches won't let you do it.
All
So
right.
that's why I was like, I kind of lucked up with softball following in the spring season.
Interesting. Because my question following that was going to be your varsity letters. I just had a discussion with somebody recently, like how many letters do you have type of thing. And you do everything. So I'm trying to figure out what your varsity letter in total is.
Yeah, it was in softball and cheerleading. Like I said, at the time, our volleyball coach was like, no, like I need volleyball players 24/7. And I went back to my high school, and I was like, wait a minute. I said, she cheated volleyball, now she can cheer too? I said, oh, what? Wait a minute, let me redo this again. But I mean, I wouldn't change my experience for anything else in the world. But yeah, if I could, I would have done everything and just figured out what I really liked. And also probably would have explored maybe like colleges would have picked me more. Because I also kind of knew I wasn't going to play in college, but I knew I was going to cheer in college because I was just like, I don't know, like, cheerleading was just everything. It combined my two worlds, sports and being a girly girl. So, but I think if I would have had the opportunity to play volleyball and play basketball and play softball and really like, okay, I want to do this in college, I think I would have did it as well. But, you know, it all worked out for the best.
Absolutely. So getting to the college that you did choose, so you did answer that question, you know, kind of legacy, wanted to follow grandmother and go to Alabama A&M. But what was this kind of like the goal? Because you said real early you knew that you wanted to be in kind of media and just kind of looking at that. Was that like dead straight on, like, hey, I'm going here, I'm going to jump in this media program and cheer? But what was that process like for you?
Actually, it wasn't easy. Like I said, I was set on Auburn. Actually, let me take it back. Middle school, I was set on UNC. I was in love with Michael Jordan. And once I found out he went to UNC, I was like, okay, that's where I'm going. Go Tar Heels. I'm wearing baby blue every day. Like, that was it. And then in ninth grade, I met a couple of people that like started doing like early college researching and stuff. And they're like, we're going to go to Auburn. We're going to go to Auburn. And I was like, oh, okay, well, that's kind of cool. And then I got into the program Upward Bound, and they would take us on college tours. So I toured everywhere. But something about Auburn just like sat with me. I was just like, it just feels like home. It just feels like I'm meant to be here. And then my mom said, well, let's not rule out A&M. Because every time I would go to A&M, it would be for a football game. So it was never like to tour the campus or to see the city or different things like that. It was just like, football game, yay, go home. So we finally went on a private tour, and he's no longer there, but his name was Mr. Hall. I swear to God, that man should get a Pulitzer Prize for college recruiting, because so many kids came to that school because of him. Like, no, seriously, he told us about his daughter. She was like one of the first Black Rockettes. He told me about every single detail about A&M. And I was just like, wow. And like I said, my hometown was very small and I was always the first Black woman to do something, or the only Black to do something. And I got tired of being Twillie, Twillie the Black girl, or Twillie the first Black girl to do this. I just wanted to be Twillie, just a student, just blend in with everyone else. And I went up to A&M, I toured it, just talking about the legacy there, like the author of The Roots graduated from A&M. Of course, we had Ruben Studdard from A&M. A&M at the time was the third largest football stadium. I know that's sad, but that's probably like the keynote that sold me. The only two that beat it at the time was Alabama and Auburn. I was like, wow, that's really cool. A lot of people don't know that. Like, that's really amazing. And like I said, how Auburn felt like home, A&M felt like home. And that was it. And like I said, I'm very, very grateful for it, because if I didn't have it, I wouldn't be as connected as I am now. And I wouldn't even have the job that I have now if it wasn't for A&M. So.
What's homecoming like at A&M, right? Because, there's we have a lot of HBCU alums and people that talk about like the homecoming and whose homecoming is best. And that's what was like a homecoming for you?
Homecoming at A&M is just top tier. Like, it's so much fun. Like, because A&M is in Huntsville, Alabama. So there's no other major school there besides UAH. But UAH doesn't have a football team. And then you have Oakwood University. They're a private Christian school. They don't have a football team. So everyone locks in on A&M, especially homecoming. The food is good. The games are even better. In recent years, we played Jackson State when Dion was there, so that was crazy. And then last year, we played Tuskegee University, and we had over like 25,000 people there. And that's not including the people that was just at tailgating. So I probably would say it was at least like 50,000 people there. It was insane. But A&M homecoming was a lot of fun. I know people are probably going to kill me for saying this, but it's not the best homecoming. The best homecoming is North Carolina A&T. And then like A&M, yeah, I'm gonna give props for props.
Yeah.
Okay, little Aggie pride.
You gonna get in trouble.
I know. I did a whole entire for the Atlanta Voice of who had the best homecoming. I traveled to Howard, Southern, Tuskegee, A&T. Who else did I go to? Tennessee State. But A&T was just next level. But A&M's is so much fun as well, and it's just good vibes. And this year we're playing Bethune-Cookman, so it should be as exciting as Tuskegee last year. But I think this year is going to be more so just like a family reunion versus like, let me show out versus Tuskegee people. Let's just keep talking our trash. It's just going to be a nice family reunion, fun time.
Being classically trained in music, how did that help academic-wise for you in college?
So I would say that I was more musically intelligent than I was academically. Academically, yes, like I did enough to get by. But I'm also like, yeah, I may have a C, but I could play a concerto. Like, I doubt you can do that, But I think it did teach me like discipline and determination and hard work, and all keys go together. How I started playing music was my mom. She was a piano player as well. And I wanted to play the violin first, but she said, you need to know the basics first. So I did the piano first, and then I did the flute, and then I did the violin. And then one day I got bored and I picked up the guitar. So that's how it all came about. But definitely, I think the two bounced out well. And in school, I studied music education for my minor. So it just all worked out that way.
A minor.
You know?
So let's not go when we're talking about the history, like who, what's all developed you. We can't skip over the pageant stuff, right? So you started pageants. What did you say? 5 years old, I think I read or caught somewhere. Just kind of started as like a humbug and just the modeling and that, and to this day, right? And we may get into that a little later when we kind of talk about your career stuff. But how was the pageant stuff, kind of growing up and going into college? Did you kind of, because there is some pageantry around, HBCU stuff, right? So, and then also fun fact, we did have your pageant sis, Hollis Brown, on the show. So shout out to Hollis.
Yes, love her. So like I said, my hometown, if you watch that movie Varsity Blues or anything like old school Southern, that is my hometown. So you're a boy, you play sports, you're a girl, you cheer, and you compete in pageants. Like, that's just how it goes. And so I just thought it was just cool. Like I said, I'm a tom girl. I love playing in the dirt. I love football and softball, but I love being in the evening gown and just being pretty. And it just kind of started just like something kind of fun. And then in 5th grade, I did our first like major pageant in my hometown, and I lost. And I didn't lose like a little bit. I lost really, really bad. Now, being the athlete that I am, we don't like to lose. It angered me. And I literally took an entire year and I practiced every single day for that pageant. It only came around once a year, and I practiced every single day, whether I was in the grocery store, at softball practice, cheer practice, whatever. And I won. And I said, oh, this okay, I like this. This is cool. And then, of course, you get older, you start seeing people like Erin Andrews. She was a pageant girl. You see people, like Halle Berry. You see Kenya Moore, just all these like beautiful, amazing women. And I'll also say even Catherine, I think her last name was like the one that dated AJ McCarron. You remember when she was on TV and it like blew up, like, oh my gosh, she's a pageant girl. And she started working with Sports Illustrated. And I said, okay, this is how I can get to where I need to be. And so I just started looking at it like that. But then I also started researching about like what pageant system worked best for me. So at the time, Miss USA was under Trump, and I knew what type of culture that was. And I was like, that doesn't fit me. Like, that's not where I want to be. So I want to be a part of a pageant system that celebrated me and my culture, and I didn't have to change myself. So I started looking at like Miss Black International, Miss Black International Ambassador, and now Miss Black USA. And I said, I get to celebrate me, my culture, my path. They support me and my dreams and the legacy I'm trying to build and legacy I'm trying to create. And it just all worked for the greater good. And I'm also trying to influence other Black girls to participate, just because I want the stereotype to go away that you have to be pretty and prissy. Like, yes, I'm not going to front. That does help. But everyone has a story to tell. And it also leads to a lot of scholarship money. Like currently, like Miss North Carolina for the Miss America system, she's a student at North Carolina Central University. Now her entire school is getting paid for. If you win Miss Alabama, you go to any college in the state for free. That's books, board, everything for free. And I'm like, if you compete at any state pageant for Miss USA, you get a full ride scholarship to Alabama. But that is a full ride scholarship that you don't have to pay for. No matter if you won Miss Wisconsin or Miss New York, you can go to school for free. So that's what made me really interested in it. And when I became the first Black girl to win Miss Montevallo, I was like, oh, I like making history. And then just seeing the history behind like little girls was like, oh, I started competing because of you. And yeah, that just intrigued it. And now I'm the current Miss Black Southern States USA, and I'll compete for Miss Black USA in August 2025. And I think I'll be done after that. I think I'll retire. No more Michael Jordan. I'm gonna come back. Like, no.
What goes into the prep into the pageantry? What goes into prep?
Ooh, just think Final Four, Game 7, tied intensity for a year. Like. Everything, yeah. It's from the food, from getting your coach, and you have to get the right coach. And then, like I said, some women get 4 coaches, some get 2. I think at one time, I had like 5 at one time. Yeah, because you have like an interview coach, you have a walking coach, you have a fashion coach. Like, it's very detailed. It's very, very detailed. And I think this go around, I just have one. She's a one-stop shop. She's a former Miss DC USA. And we just getting it done, and it's very intense. But I said it's very, like I said, an athlete training for like getting drafted or Final Four or national championship. It's to that level, and it can get there. Especially me. Like I study pageants like film. Like I'm like, okay, she did this. This one did it here, and some say that's not a good thing. I think it's a great thing. But yeah, a lot goes into it, like every single little detail, from social media, from your earrings to your hair to who sponsors you. It just all goes into it. But I think at my level of career of pageantry now, I'm at the point where like, I know I'm good. Just go through the steps. And like I said, what God has for me is for me. And then this isn't it. We're going to give the girl who wins a flat tire. No, I'm joking. I'm joking.
Yeah, MH heard you say scholarship. He took out the pen and power and was taking notes.
I surely did.
Yeah.
I surely did. That's wonderful. I didn't know that at all. So thank you for that education piece for sure. Speaking of education, is there education that you could give some of the athletes now as fashion? It's always been a part of sports, but they do the runway thing now. So what education could you give to our current athletes that are sharing their fashion ideas before the games and after the games?
I would say everything's about marketing, because everyone cares about you when you're current. Like, yes, we still respect you when it says former Denver Nugget, but when you're a current Nugget, tag every brand that you're wearing. Like, it's always a business transaction. So show them like, hey, I got this Louis Vuitton shirt on. I know y'all want to send me something in exchange because I know the sales will go up. Perfect example is Michelle Obama. Every time Michelle Obama wore something from J. Crew, it sold out in 5 seconds. So her team was able to market and be like, okay, we know if Michelle wears this, it's going to sell out. So you are a brand, you are a billboard, get paid for it.
Yeah, absolutely. And that walk into the game is becoming, that runway. So they definitely need to take that lesson.
Definitely.
All right. So jumping into the career, we like to call this in the game. So now getting in the game, we joked the pre-show as we were doing the warm-up is that, you part Jamaican with everything you do, you know what I mean? But so first, let's talk about, your most recent HBCU Go, what that's like, how that kind of started and what you're passionate about starting with this role.
Yeah, so I absolutely love working in social media. I feel like I'm my own producer of a movie every single day when I post content or when I post content for other people. And the opportunity came up. I did a couple of videos for them and they got over like 300,000 views each. Just because I like telling stories that I know ESPN's not going to tell or Bleacher Report's not going to tell. Perfect example, Xavier University cheerleaders. They won the national championship and not just like by a little bit, they won it exceedingly. And that was their first time ever competing in Daytona. And you have squads that go year after year that never place. And that was their first time coming. And Xavier's a small HBCU in New Orleans. I was like, oh, this story has to get out there. And so I just sent it to them. I was like, oh, if they collab with it, cool. If they don't, at least it's out there. And they accepted it and other outlets accepted it. And it just like went crazy. And of course, like, I'm sorry to the people from Xavier. I said their name wrong in the video. I said Xavier because I was thinking of the name. But it's Xavier. I know it now. It is imprinted in my brain. But like I said, that team and that school needed their shine, and I didn't know it was going to blow up as well. I knew it was going to perform well, but not that well. As well as North Carolina A&T cheerleading team went to the same competition. They won their division. And one more story I think I did. Jackson State's basketball player who got drafted to the Las Vegas Aces. She was like the 6th HBCU player to get drafted. And like I said, those stories need to be put out there and told, especially in the age of digital media. Like you said, you have a daughter. I know she scrolls. I know it's monitored, but I'm like, if she sees this, she'll be like, I want to play basketball at Jackson State, or I want to cheer Xavier. So that's like my motivation behind it, especially with HBCU Go. A lot of HBCU stories are not really told, especially in the sports world. Currently, I think we have 19 players that just made the 53-man roster for the NFL from HBCUs. And I know a lot of kids think like, oh, if I go to Tennessee State, I'm not going to make it to the league. I'm like, yes, you will. Or if I go to UAPB, I'm like, Terran Armstead got a nice contract with the Miami Dolphins. He went to UAPB. You can go there and you can be great as well. So that is my new mission behind my new role, just telling more stories and promoting the HBCU Go brand. It was founded by Byron Allen. He's a media mogul, Allen Media Group, and just, HBCU games are not televised as they should be. They're either on ESPN Plus or ESPN3. And I'm like, we finally have a network just for us, by us. Like, what more could you ask for? So, yeah, so I'm excited. So it's my first season with them, so I'm super excited.
That's unbelievable. That's fantastic. I don't want to get us too far off track, but the NABJ convention, I know you were in attendance, and I just want to can you quickly describe the atmosphere around Mr. 45 if you're comfortable sharing?
Yeah, so I posted a video about it, and I saw this comedian. He made a funny post, and I was like, this is the perfect audio for this video. Because it was usually NABJ is like an A&M homecoming or an HBCU homecoming. You only get to see these people once a year. You connect, you share ideas, get new ideas, new motivation. And this year was it was like an Iron Bowl. Either you was Alabama or you was Auburn. There was no it was so to me, this is the thing that a lot of people don't know. We invite the both parties, we invite them every single election year to tell your side. And I remember back in 2016, that was my first NABJ. We invited Hillary. Hillary came at the last minute, and it was like, okay, let's scramble. And Trump didn't come. And everyone was like, what? And We put out a statement saying, hey, Trump didn't come. We didn't invite him, whatever. We've invited him every single year, and he has never came. And I think for 2 reasons he came this year was because Kamala couldn't come, and it was in Chicago, and the DNC was going to be in Chicago a few weeks afterwards. So, I mean, I like a good petty moment, and I think Trump was just being petty. So it was very intense. I've never experienced an NABJ like that because a lot of people were disappointed that he was coming, and a lot of people were like, look, we cover both sides. Like, we gotta see this. And I don't know if you saw the video, but the comedian said, I want him to come to let him cook. I wanted to capture every moment of it because if he lied on Twitter, I wanted to be the one to be like, I got the video. It's right here. You are lying. No. That didn't happen. So that was me. And then I also thought, because he had did an interview with Wendy Williams way before he became president, and he was normal. And I honestly gave him the benefit of the doubt because I was like, there's no way this man gonna show out in front of 600 plus Black people in this. I really thought he was just gonna come out, just be a normal candidate, be like, hey, this is what I plan to do. And that plan went out the window. He did completely opposite. It was insane, but I mean, I can't believe I was there to witness it, but I can say, hey, I was there. I saw the craziness. So,
yeah, MH would say he was on brand.
very much on brand.
Very, very on brand.
I hit you up because we've going every now and then, just depends on location, just the location and time. It didn't work this year for me to personally attend. And I saw that announcement, and like you said, Twitter and social media went bananas. And just not having that history, because even myself didn't have that history during the election year. There's always, both sides are invited. Mm-hmm. And then it was just even cause of concern of who was going to interview them. Were they really going to do a true and deep interview, or are they going to just throw softballs? So so just all in all, I hit you up like, hey, are you going to live stream this?
Right. No, and I kept wanting to, but they took away our selfie stick, so my hand kept getting tired. So I was like, but if it was, I think the panelists did an amazing job. Rachel, she was better than me because he was coming at her sideways. Twillie Cottingham wouldn't have reacted like that. The young lady in the middle did well, and I knew once I saw Harris was up there because she works for Fox News, I said, This is equally balanced. So I was like, this was really well. Now, I would have remixed it. I would have threw Roland Martin up there just for some spice. But, I commend everyone. It was really difficult. But like I said, George Bush's came before, Mitt Romney's came before, John McCain's came before, and Bernie Sanders used to come every year. That's what I'm saying. These political candidates always come to NABJ. You have not just little mini reporters from Minnesota, but you got big wigs from CNN. Everyone comes to NABJ that's in the space. So this is your one time to plead your case, to get it out there. And like I said, Trump, he did what Trump did Trump. So yeah.
On brand. So tell our audience that, and maybe, go ahead.
My phone's about to die. I'm gonna grab my charger for 2 seconds. Can we pause? Can you
edit this? Okay. Yeah, do your thing.
Okay, hold on. Okay.
So yeah, just being in that environment, and for like I said, some of our listeners that have never gone to that event, just kind of explain. I mean, you kind of talked about the level of people that are there, but some people may not think about, as a digital creator, why it really makes sense for you to go there. And people sometimes forget that digital, and social media is now part of mainstream media. So since you've been going, obviously you've seen value, but tell us about some of the value other than the people that you can meet there that you found and attending.
Well, yeah. Well, actually, my background is in journalism. So it's the National Association of Black Journalists. So you always go, I always go to learn what's new, what's current. Because ESPN does a great job. They do a ESPN social media summit. So we talk about new trends, what work, what's it like to work at ESPN and their social team. So that's really cool too, as well as there's a huge job fair there. So you go see what's out there. I mean, just see what's out there. Like I said, you can bring something back to your current job. Maybe you get a better raise or something like that, or just maybe you want to venture off and see what other opportunities are out there. It just depends on your year. Like some of my friends come specifically just looking for a job. Some of my friends just come like they're hosting a panel. I usually come just to see. It depends on the year. Like I said, some years I'm going just to look for a job. Some years I'm going just to party and hang out with my friends. And then some years I'm just going to learn. The past 2 years I've gone strictly to learn, like what's the new trend, how to get better. And they also critique your work. So they can tell you like, hey, I like this video, but change this. Or, hey, this is really good. You need to do this. So I like that aspect of it. It just depends on what you want out of it. But overall, I just love, like I said, it's literally like a homecoming. I only get to see some of these people once a year, and it's for a week, and it's usually in a great city. So like I said, this past year we were in Chicago. I haven't been to Chicago in like years, and when I would go to Chicago, it was always like for a quick second, like in and out. So I got to be there for a few days. And then they present us with amazing opportunities. Like we got to tour the Wrigley Field. We got to go to a White Sox game. That was really neat. We wanted to do WNBA, but it was also like during Olympics, so we couldn't do that. And just, really taking the city, because especially the NABJ Chicago chapter, right? Like Chicago's that city. Da, 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 da. And of course, I went to HBCU, so a lot of Chicago people go to school with us. And I was like, okay, like Chicago's
Bye.
right in Chicago. So this was my first time actually going and being like, wow, like this is cool. And if it wasn't for NABJ, I wouldn't have gone to Chicago randomly in the summer. So like I said, people just have different reasons, but usually the reasons are always good. And by the time you're done at the end of the week, you're rejuvenated, you're refreshed, and you're now have a new sense of motivation and hope for your new year, basically.
No, that's good stuff. And then, you said, your degrees in journalism. So you've done reporting, right? So sports reporting. And so just looking at kind of like your past career, I don't know if you're still with them in due time, but you reported for the Atlanta Voice. You've done, radio in Alabama. So looking at those, what skill sets, do you kind of switch to when you're taking those roles?
So I try to be what I pat myself to be. I want to be the Black female version of Dick Vitale. Dick Vitale was just
everywhere.
Man, he was just so animated and so excited, and he loved everything that he talked about, and he just had amazing catchphrases and moments. And also to other great legends like Robin Roberts. I loved her style as well. So I always wanted to emulate those people, but also bring Twillie's spin to it. Because I'm very animated, if you can't tell, in everyday life. But when I'm telling a story, I like to tell it as like I'm talking to my best friends. And what's funny is my entire girlfriend group don't understand sports. We've been friends since childhood, college, adult life. They don't know squat. And I'm like, y'all have been friends with me for years, and how do y'all not know this? So the best compliment they always give me is that I relate sports to them in a girly way, or a way that they can understand it. So now I'm kind of like leaning into that more so coming up with my content, because I want to where everyone can understand, whether you're gay, straight, guy, girl, ex-wife of 20 years, like you can be like, oh, okay, yeah, honey, I saw this girl talk about this game. So that's the kind of style that I try to bring, and I just want to be memorable like that. Like I said, I saw Dick Vitale do something live. I think I was, like I said, 14, 15, and it literally changed my life. I was like, that's what I want to do. I want to be like him. And even, rest in peace, Stuart Scott, him the same way. I was just like, wow, he's amazing. But you never see a female get to be like that. And I think it really sucks, because they either want females to be two different types of ways. You want them to either be Lisa Salter, Maria Taylor, Jacinda Anderson, very like stoic in there. And I'm like, no, we have personalities too. Like, trust me, if Auburn messes up, that's a different Twillie that's yelling at the TV. But I want to do that, like I said, in a professional and fun way, as best way as I can. And hopefully I'll be able to do that someday in a larger scale. That's why I love social now. I get to control my narrative. I don't have to worry about 10 executives being like, well, that doesn't fit our brand and that doesn't do that. Now, of course, you still have to tone it so brands will collab with you and brands want to work with you. But overall, I still have the creative control over it. And that's what I try to do. So.
No, I love it, and shout out to Monica McNutt, who's also been on the show. I
Yes,
feel like,
love Monica.
she does a good job. Exactly what you're saying of,
Her flavor.
being herself all the time with it. Just the media space and the journalism space, I feel like is always evolving, and it's funny you mentioned Dick Vitale. He feels like he's like Louis Vuitton. He's timeless. Like in any era he succeeds. So how do you keep evolving, with the changes as well in this space?
Like I said, I love looking for stories that I know are not going to be mainstream. I think that's like my niche of what I like to go to. I'm a huge fan of front office sports. I like that concept of just bringing like the business side of different stories like that. And also I'm giving a shout out to my girl, Bailey Jackson. She does that as well. Just talking stories. But I know for me, there's a lot of HBCU stories that are not being told. Like, that's why I want to keep going. So I study social, I study journalists every single day. Because, like I said, I want to be Muhammad Ali. I want to be the best. I want to be up there with the greats. Like I said, with Monica, Maria, Lisa, like I want Twillie up there. Like, I don't care if it's off of a phone. You saw me on TikTok, but I want to be in that same realm. So you just gotta constantly like look and research and love it. And also, I said this in the video I'm posting later this week, you gotta talk to other people in the same space as you. So I give huge credit to my friends like Jonas and Allie, Philip, Kelly. There are other social media managers, and I constantly reach out to them and be like, hey, does this work? Did you like this video? What did you change? Different stuff like that, because I'm always wanting to learn, and there's always room for all of us. I know people say that all the time, but it truly is. And I also know like my mission in life is to make the path easier for the next Twillie to come behind me, because there's not a lot of Black women social media managers, and there's not a lot of Black social media managers, period. So whenever I go to games, that's the first thing I look for, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm the only one. All right, I'm gonna hold it down. But by the time this happens next year, there's gonna be two. And I'm like, oh, okay, like, all right, like that's what we're gonna do. So like I said, I reach across all boards, and just not in social. I reach to photographers. My girl Chanel, she left the Panthers, the Carolina Panthers. She's now with Wasserman. Like she's a godsend. But I learned from her, as well as graphic designers and different people like that. Just we're all in the same realm, same space, and I just try to learn from them and implement Twillie and make it bigger and better. And like I said, easier for the next 5 Twillies to come on through, and they won't have as much difficulty as I did.
Okay. So in the intro, we talked about you having your wings. So you had a stint as a flight attendant, and you called yourself the sporty flight attendant, and you even did content around that, which was amazing, showing the different sporting events you went to, and that's how we kind of got a lot of the video content that you're doing. What kind of started that? Prepped you to want to jump into that as your transition, trying to figure out, like we all do, what we want to be when we grow up.
Yeah, so funny story. I was a freelance production assistant for ESPN for maybe 8 years at the time. And freelancing is fun, but it's also can be very daunting. Like, when's your next job come? You gotta kiss butt to this producer so he can use you for your next show. And it just got exhausted. Like, I wanted a full-time job. I wasn't getting it. So I was like, all right, I'm done. So I got a social media job for a radio station in Birmingham. And it was supposed to be for the Christian radio side. And I said, okay, well, that's fine. Get me right with the Lord. And on my first day.
Hold on.
I knew you weren't going to let that go. I knew you weren't going to let that go.
Oh, that was funny.
Yeah, I was just like, all right, cool. This is what we're going to do. Be something different.
So I'm tweeting for the Lord.
And so on my first day, they switched me to conservative talk radio. And I was like, y'all know I'm Black, right? Like not just a little bit Black, like real
blacker than black.
Yeah. And they were like, no, it'd be fine. And I remember I called my dad and I was like, Daddy, I don't know. This may not be the vibe. And he was like, Twillie, this will expand your resume. This will show that you can do social from all aspects. You can do sports, but can you do politics? Can you do their politics at that? And I'm like, all right, Daddy, we gonna see. We gonna try it out. And so I did that for a couple of months, and I hated it. I outright hated it. And my first week was when the Alabama U.S. senator was like, he got caught like 14-year-old girls at a mall, or it was something huge and drastic. I was like, oh my God, like, there's no way I can do this.
Right.
And yeah, it was insane. And I remember the guy named Doug, he ended up winning. So I got to, but it ended up being cool because no one from my office wanted to cover the Democratic Party running for the U.S. Senate seat. So I got to cover him and see that. I was like, oh, okay, politics kind of cool. It's still like my thing, but you know, this is cool. And one of my girlfriends, she's still freelancing with ESPN. She became a flight attendant. Shout out to Bailey. So hopefully Bailey sees this. But she had hit me up and was like, girl, I just became a flight attendant. And I was like, oh, okay, like that's cool. She was like, no, you need to be one too. She said, now we don't have to just do games in the Southeast. We can do a game anywhere in the world. And I was like, okay. You know, like that's kind of cool. So I was like, all right, let's just see what happened. I don't like my job now, so let's go. And I got picked, and I was like, okay, like this cool. All right. And then it was still like, I still didn't like it. I'm gonna be honest, because most people that became a flight attendant, that was their dream. That's what they wanted to do. And me, I was like, it's a job. You know, like there's no growth here. I'm just here, cookies and Coke. All right, cool. But then once I got, I mean, that was it, you know? But then I started once I started working like Monday Night Football games, like in Denver and Kansas City, and I said, oh, we can make this work. Like, okay, we're gonna combine the two. And but I was like, yeah, I get to work these games, but I still got to serve these cookies and Coke. Like, I want something to play and just go to sleep. So I still was just like, nah, this just ain't it. This ain't it. But I got in the groove of it. And then when COVID hit, we were furloughed. And I got used to being at home. Like, the whole world stopped. And I was like, man, this is nice. Like, I know what time zone I'm in. I get to be in my apartment more than 4 days out the month. Like, okay. And then when they rushed us back to being flight attendants earlier than what we expected, I was like, oh, this is not it. Like, I just, like I said, I didn't love it. And it felt so bad because so many people that I work with love their job. And they love being a flight attendant. And a lot of people apply to be a flight attendant and they don't get it. Like, at least over 100,000 people, and they'll never pick them, never pick. And I'm like, I'm so blessed and I'm so honored I got picked. But I'm like, I hate this. You know, I outright hate this. So finally it came to an end, like I had to leave because, like I said, I was miserable and I didn't want to be like that. And also, too, it changed a lot post-COVID. If it would have remained how it was previously before COVID, I think I still would have been flying. But I always say God pushes you where you need to be. And I told God, I said, I just want to make it 5 years, because they always talk about this big pay you get in 5 years. And I was like, I just want to make it to 5 years. After 5 years, I'm out. And I guess God was like, girl, we pushed you out at 4. And so I left after 4, and I was like, okay, what am I going to do? And I applied to be a social media manager for Stacey Abrams' campaign team. I made it pretty far. They didn't pick me. And I was like, okay. I tried for another school, made it pretty far with them. They didn't pick me. And I was like, well, maybe I'm not that good. Maybe I need to go back to doing cookies and Coke. Like, this is just, infuriating. So I moved back from Charlotte back to Alabama and was just trying to regroup. And I was like, man, like, I just know I'm not meant to be in this small town anymore. Like, I done been to Paris. I done been to Brazil. Like, I done covered national championship games. Like, why am I here? And I love my hometown, don't get me wrong, but I just knew that's not where I was meant to be. And I was just like, man, like, what I'm going to do? And I was just like applying. I had no faith anymore. And I was just applying. And then finally, ACC Digital Network was like, hey, girl, you're the one for us. And I was like, like I said, it all worked out, because when you become a flight attendant, it's easy to get stuck in that realm, because every year you're getting a raise. And like, it was hard work, but it was also easy. I could work a 2-hour flight and I have a 27-hour layover in Vegas. I'm like, I'm done for the day. I just worked 2 hours. Like, I'm good. And I'm like, I'm getting paid this. Like, it's amazing. But yes, but then you're also not seeing where this child threw up on me, or when the plane is delayed for 6 hours, I'm not getting paid for 6 hours, or when a mechanical issue, or fighting about the contract, or fighting with crew scheduling. It was just never equally balanced. And I was just like, this is just not it. But I'm very fortunate for my time as a flight attendant. Please support all flight attendants in the future because it's not an easy job. They'll love you if you bring a gift on every flight. It doesn't have to be anything major, just like a gift card to Starbucks. But yeah, I'm very grateful because, like I said, that expanded my resume. Like I said, I got to work a lot of Monday Night Football games. I got to meet a lot of producers and different teams like that and work on different projects because of it. But I know where I am now. That's where I'm meant to be.
Love it.
Shout out to the flight attendants. My wife was a flight attendant as well.
Yeah.
And that's literally, the plane is the only place where she follows rules. Otherwise, she ain't following no rules, but she gonna follow every rule on the plane. So shout out to that's a lot of work, and it's service. It's service, and it's working with people that are uncomfortable, are expecting things that they shouldn't be expecting.
Yes. And like I said, after COVID, it just went crazy. Like pre-COVID was amazing. Like I met Hassan Reddick, I met Carson Wentz. Like it was like the best thing ever. I truly loved it. But once that COVID hit and this switched, I said, "Oh nope, this is we're out. We're gonna hang up the wings."
I love it. All right, Image, man, you ready for those quick hits, man?
Yes, sir. So just some quick hits, this or that type things. Let our folks know a little bit more about you. So, Jordan or LeBron?
Oh, don't do that to me. LeBron.
Let's go. Let's go.
Book or movies?
Movies.
Okay. Android or Apple?
I feel attacked.
Oh, we're gonna say Apple, but I do like a Google Pixel phone. So yeah.
Okay. I'll take it.
Brand name or generic?
Depends on the product, but I'm gonna say brand name. I worked really hard to buy brand names. So
Weekends or holidays?
Weekends.
Football game or a basketball game?
Football. Hate basketball.
Okay.
Let's go.
Got it. Yes. Got it. Hero or villain?
Villain.
Okay. MVP or a team champion?
MVP.
World Series or Super Bowl?
I'd probably say Super Bowl. I like the pomps and circumstance of it.
Okay. Play it safe and go to overtime, or risk it and go for the win in regulation?
Go for the win.
College or pro?
That's coach's daughter right there.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
College or pro?
Ooh, college. You get to have more fun.
Okay. Elite or underdog?
Underdog.
Okay. Legendary coach or legendary player?
Coach.
You gonna win at home, or are you winning on the road?
Like I said, I like being petty, so winning on the road.
Okay, last one. I think I know the answer based on another one. NBA on Christmas or NFL on Thanksgiving?
NFL Thanksgiving.
Gotcha.
Yes. That was a great one. All right, so one, you said the villain. So does that come from your Marvel fandom? You know what I mean? Like, and who's like one of your favorite villains? You know, in that like the Marvel series.
Ooh, well, I'm a villain fan from Disney. So like Scar, Dr. Facilier,
Scar.
What's her name?
Not Scar. What's the girl that killed the Dalmatians?
Cruella.
Yeah.
Maleficent. But in Marvel, Thanos. And this is why I say Thanos. Like they've had good villains, but Thanos is memorable because even movies now they're still talking about when he blinked and did all this, and I'm like, that's some legendary stuff. I'm like, you killed your own kid to be number one. That's a top tier villain, and I like villains because like they usually have the best storyline and the best song,
and the best song, 100%.
Like I just watched Lion King the other day, and I was like, dang, this Scar song, like
that Scar
he
hit.
What? Yeah. So, and I don't know. Usually, I just like the villain origin story. Like it's a reason why they are the way they are. Now, don't get me wrong. I like a hero, but the villain just gotta,
more depth to it, right? They go through
Yeah,
something.
sure.
They're going through something. All right, we're jumping into the winner's circle, and this is kind of where we use a platform, but we're changing up a little bit. And we love when our guests come on and request certain things, and you want to talk about HBCUs, right? Like that's just really your passion. So, like, is there something that jumps out to you? Is there a game that you want us to watch, or the audience to watch, or what should we be looking on the horizon? I mean, one thing that we just saw and we posted on our social is that some people call it the CCCI Part 2 or whatever. They're doing that inaugural kind of kickoff classic for basketball. This is kind of got re-geared, but tell us about HBC and what we should be looking forward to this year.
Yeah, so like hbcugo, we're covering 14 games. That's going to be a lot. I'm super excited. I think we're doing like 4 homecomings. So we're doing A&M's homecoming, Alcorn's homecoming, Gramblin's homecoming, and I think Central State's homecoming. So we're just really excited. I really am excited to see FAMU. I don't know if y'all watched the FAMU Norfolk State game the other night, but they brought in like 1.9 million or something insane like that. And I was like, it was a great game. Like, it's an insane game. And I really think FAMU is going to go back to back. Even though I don't agree with them letting half their senior staff go, because I was good friends with their athletic director and she did a phenomenal job in her 3 years of being there. But I think they're just locked in. They're loaded. Of course, I want A&M to win and be a top so I can just brag and be annoying. But yeah, I think all of their games are just going to be really, really good. And I just hope that they have a good chance to do a repeat. And I'm also, what I said in the video that's coming out too, I really hope that the presidency, that they change it where national champions come, whether you're D1, D2, D3, and HBCU, NAIA, you won your national championship. I think you should be awarded by a presidential visit, especially, you know, with our future president being a HBCU grad, especially if you're an HBCU national champion, I think you should be up there. So my eye is definitely on FAMU. I think CIAA is going to have a really good football championship this year, and SIAC as well. I love that a lot of schools are getting new stadiums and football turf. I know Miles College just got one, Albany State, Clark Atlanta, and one more school, I can't remember now, but I love that.
Shout out to Arthur Blank, man.
Yes.
He put that bag up, and he's always doing big things, man, because he did a really big, he invested heavily in the Black Sports Symposium that happens annually. So that's a big shout out. I'd love to see that.
Yes, and I love they're finally getting back into HBCU sports, especially because it broke my heart that Talladega College lost their gymnastics program. They were national champions, and you knew gymnastics was expensive before you included in here. And I'm like, you had those girls come for 1 year, and now they're gone. Like, that just breaks my heart. So hopefully, I pray that another HBCU picks up their gymnastics program. I know we have it at Fisk, and shout out to the Fisk gymnastics team. They're doing amazing. But I want to see A&M with one. Grambling had a gymnastics team back in the day. So hopefully they can bring it back, and FAMU and different things like that. So that's all I got from the HBCU front. I'm super excited for this football season. I can't wait to cover everything and see everything. I know the New York Classic is coming up in 2 weeks, so that's going to be huge. I know they're going for the Guinness Book of World Records for the longest D9 unity stroll in the world, so that's going to be exciting to see. Yeah, I just think everything is going to be good this season. You know, it's going to be amped up extra. You got the band, the cheerleaders, you know, the trash talking. Even on my Twitter right now, they're already talking. I was like, Lord, y'all, it is week 1. It is week 1. We're already like this, but I think it's going to be a great time. And especially, you know, we'll see how the political realm holds out, because Howard's going to be insufferable after November. But I'm super excited for them and anyone in the HBCU space, because I know A&M, we have a slogan that says start here, go anywhere. And I apply that to all HBCUs. Like, yo, literally, you could start here and go anywhere and be great. So that's what.
Love that. And just, you know, we do want to jump to the PWI, because you have covered that. You know, you've seen that. Is there any quick college prediction you have? What do you feel about, like, the realignment with the 12? You know, it's just a lot of, I noticed, but just like really quick, what's your thoughts on that?
Oh, real quickly, I think Oklahoma and Texas made a great move to the SEC. I'm not trying to be biased, but looking at it just from the softball aspect of it, and just like Texas from their recruiting, and they got Archie Manning coming in, I think that was a really good move. I'm really kind of upset with the ACC. I still love them. I love my people over there, but I really don't think they thought about the student athlete from Miami flying out to Cal, and Cal flying to Boston College, and I get it, but I'm also like, we really didn't have to do that. Yeah, so that realignment, I'm interested to see how Pac-12, well, now the Pac-2 realigns,
Actually,
and Big 10 and Big 12, they're just rocking and rolling, but I think this year's really going to shake up some stuff for sure.
It's definitely going to be interesting, and it's funny as you say that's a part that I don't think is talked about enough, is about the traveling and what that does for a student athlete. So yeah, it's very interesting.
Oh, definitely. And then I'm like, y'all not taking into account too these different time zones.
oh,
So
right.
I'm like, yeah, you're flying in from Cali for a game on Saturday, but I'm like, Cali's 3 hours behind. So
Right.
now you're making them wake up and do this, and then you're also messing up the East Coast kids because like, oh, we gotta play later because of them. Like, it's just, yeah, it's gonna be interesting. But for week 1, I'm excited to watch the USC LSU game. I'm definitely excited to watch Clemson, Georgia. I'm really excited to watch Notre Dame and Texas A&M because if you don't know, I'm the biggest Riley Leonard fan because last year we went viral for our major moment when he asked the professor for an extension on his homework. I filmed that, I recorded that, and then because of our Alabama relationship, I was able to get that exclusive moment. But I'm happy that he's at Notre Dame. I think he's going to do exceedingly well. He is my front runner for the Heisman. I'm going to say that, I'm putting it out there so y'all can say it was here first. Notre Dame is one of my dark horses for your team. Texas as well. I really think Sarkisian got a good squad over there. And lastly, Ole Miss. I think with Saban gone, that's Lane Kiffin's kryptonite. I think he'll finally get over that Alabama Ole Miss hump. And I think they could do some damage. I'm still rooting for Florida State because, I was with the ACC for 2 years, and those were my babies. And I feel so bad that they got,
That'd be
dubbed
hard.
last.
that's gonna be hard. They took that lump in the head. Huh?
Ooh, that hurt me. That hurt me so bad. But yeah, I know we just had the week 1 game in Ireland, but it's first game jitters. You got to figure out everything. So, but I'm not underestimating Georgia Tech at all either. But I think Florida State really has their villain era, their vengeance to like, no, we're about to do this, as well as Georgia. I think Georgia's going to win it all. They got that chip too. They got that vengeance. Like, nah, bro, we were meant to be number 1. Michigan still be in the mix. And, cheat to win is fine. Just don't get caught. Why would you get caught via Venmo? Like, that just, I would never understand that. But, my Auburn Tigers, I think they'll do well. I always give my hardest critiques on coaches in their second year. So the first year, you just got to change, readjust. But your second year, that's when your recruits are coming in. This is where your full staff is here. All right, let me see what you got. So I think Auburn will do better than people expect. I don't think we'll be back to Auburn legacy of dominance and greatness, but I do think we have a better chance this year.
Love it. And then before we move on, because now you have someone that's a little duality, right? So what's your thoughts or comments on Coach Prime? And we'll keep it moving. Being HBCU, what he did with Jackson, and then I the PWI, and so just like where we're going with it. So we definitely talk about him a lot on our show. So just want to throw that out there to you.
Yeah, no, it's fine. No, my friends will crack up because everyone always asks this question. I enjoyed what Coach Prime did for Jackson State. I truly, truly do. I do not agree with how he left. And that just annoyed me so well. And everyone's like, well, coaches move. Like, how your dad was. And I was like, no, I get that. But don't sell and be like, hey, boys, come home. HBCU culture, like, da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And then you're like gone. You know what I'm saying? Like, it could have been like a smoother transition of that. That's what irritated me the most. I didn't like how everyone was like, oh, Colorado's an HBCU now. It will never be one. So stop that. And I think this year, like I said, year 2 of coaches, they're finally getting their like jitters and stuff out. I'm trying to be politically correct, and yeah.
I will keep it moving.
No, but I do wish them. I wish everyone a healthy and safe season. I do want them to get their ass kicked, though. That's just me.
There you go. Love it. Love it. That's exactly what we want to hear. Love it. So we're gonna
Don't do that. Don't do that.
All right. And we got the over-under. We just did our live show. The over-under was 6, I believe. So 6 wins. So we'll see if they get there. All right. So wrapping up the show, man, so we get out of here. This part we call the assist. So this is where you drop a coaching gem, words you live by. So just a quick quote or something like that. So something maybe you would tell your younger stuff, but give us that gem.
Ooh, I have 2. So my favorite show in the entire world is Scandal. And I love this line, you got to be twice as good to get half of what they get, especially as Black women in the sports space. It's very hard and difficult to maneuver in certain areas and have our voice taken seriously. But if you're twice as good, I know we'll just get half, but they can't take that away from you. As well as this is for everyone. Never let the fear of striking out keep you from playing the game. A lot of people come with me all the time like, oh, I'm so scared to put out content. I'm so scared to do this. And I'm like, scared doesn't get paid. Sorry, it doesn't. And you just have to do it. And like I said, no content will ever be good. Trust me, I love editing. I will take all day to edit something. And I'm like, it could be perfect. I'm still like, oh, no, let me tweak this. If you never put it out there, no one's going to see it. And it doesn't matter if it's 2 views to 2 million. Put it out there because no matter what, it's going to travel and it's going to like pick up. Like a video I did like 4 years ago, it's still getting numbers. And I'm like, how did y'all even find? But okay, appreciate you. So those are my like top 2 assists out there, and just keep going. Like I said, there's room for all of us, and we're the best. Black in sports, we're the best at everything. So
let's go. Love it. Love that's a soundbite. All right, MH, man. Final thoughts, man. Close us out.
Yeah. Scared doesn't get paid. I love that. I got to write that. I'm about to steal that from you. Appreciate you, Twillie. I appreciate your time and very much a fan of all your work and salute to you. And we'll continue to watch your success. Thanks for spending some time with us.
Oh, no, thank you guys so much. It's truly been an honor working with you guys. So blessed to be here. I can't wait to do more great things coming up. So just get ready. Y'all probably get sick of me like, dang, Twillie, you're at everything. But, I like being a storyteller. I like telling everything. So, but again, I'm so appreciative of you guys. Wishing y'all much success. And hopefully all my predictions come true. And when they do, y'all can say y'all heard it here first. So there we go.
There you go. We got the exclusive. Well, Twillie, thank you again. We want to, we just appreciate you. We know you're really busy out there doing great things. We're going to continue to support you. We love the support that you've given us and including us in the stories that you tell. So just want to thank you. We also want to thank the people for listening. I hope you enjoyed the show. As you know, we drop new shows every Thursday, so please subscribe to that YouTube channel. As you know, visual representation matters. If you can see it, you can be it. All right, so listen to wherever you listen to podcasts. We're there. Stay safe, practice gratitude, and know we're rooting for you.
Screaming, all us blacks got is sports and entertainment until we even.
Assuming I'm rooting for everybody that's black. Yeah. Assuming I'm rooting for everybody that's black. Look. Assuming I'm rooting for everybody that's black. Spent about 2 racks on handmade new rags. Assuming I'm rooting for everybody that's black. That's everybody from sports to college class to rap.